Behind me, I have a giant cutoff wall, and it's definitely a hazard for the situation. It could build up and snow can push this thing and collapsing it onto this house. And today, we're gonna be building a retaining wall. Not just any retaining wall, a 50-ton retaining wall. 1,100 square feet. I don't know what I'm doing. That's why I got Tanner here from Ultimate Excavation to help us out. Let's see what kind of trouble we get into today. So in order for engineering to sign off on this, we have to do a two-tier system here. This will allow for the height of this wall, which is 12 feet tall, to be properly held back. We're figuring out where our line is right now. That stump needs to come out in order to be flush with the top of that pad that Tanner's on. A lot of dirt to be moved today. Hopefully dirt moves today, and then tomorrow we can start stacking our rocks. I'm excited about this tier system because already how much it's going to be sloping away from the house. It doesn't look so claustrophobic. It doesn't look like the cabin is kind of just hiding behind this crazy aggressive wall. It almost teeters out, which makes it a little bit more subtle. And a lot of people are actually wondering, like, why are you building a house at the bottom of a hill? We are not at the bottom of the hill. We are actually on top. That is the top of the mountain. We're just on the hillside of it. There's a golf ball in here. There's a golf ball. Titleist. Pro V1. All right, maybe you'll find a set of clubs after this. So the roots on this thing are super deep. This thing is barely budging, so we're gonna try the old yank 'em. Hopefully it doesn't slide off that stump. Let's go! Let's go! I'm starting to think we should have left this thing in here. This land's cursed now. So what we have here is 12 pallets of retaining block. It's geowall, which is slick. It's got stakes and all that stuff. 1,100 square feet. And this is only a third of it. We have, well, actually 2/3. We have already 12 here, another 12 here, and we have like another 8 coming. 30 pallets worth of stone, 50 tons, $18,000, not including help with excavation, all that stuff. When I say I'm not gonna financially recover from this speaks for itself. 50 tons of brick, and it's just concrete. It's just freaking concrete. Oh yeah, plus delivery fees. Don't forget delivery fees. The retaining wall project is gonna be insane. We're slinging 50 tons of retaining block. And you know what that means? It means that we need to be ready for it. And the way I get ready for any day is with hydration. And the reason I start with hydration is because hydration is the secret to how I feel every single day when I work. I try to drink this gallon of water every single day, but what ends up happening is I just end up peeing all day, and that gets really annoying. And that's why I couldn't be more excited about to talk about sponsors of today's video and the product that I use multiple times a day, and that is Element. Element helps anyone to stay hydrated without sugar or other dodgy ingredients found in popular electrolyte drinks. You see, electrolyte deficiency can cause headaches, cramps, fatigue, brain fog, which I always try to avoid, and weakness. And when I don't drink it, I truly do feel it. Element is formulated for anyone on mission to restore their health through hydration, and it is perfectly suited for athlete folks who are fasting, those following keto diets, low carbs, that's me, whole food, or even paleo diet. They're easy and convenient. I always have a few in my lunchbox. Simply just open it up, pour it in your water, shake it up. Watermelon salt, so delicious. Try Element totally risk-free. If you don't like it, they'll refund you, no questions asked. It's designed to be enjoyed hot on its own or swiveled into your favorite recipe, or maybe even a cocktail. It's a tasty and healthy way to heat up your winter. Irina uses it in all her cocktails. It's a hack. So try Element totally risk-free. If you don't like it, they'll refund you your orders, no questions asked. They're really good about that. And since we're in the cold season, Element just introduced their chocolate medley. It's a delicious trio of flavors featuring chocolate mint, chocolate chai, and my personal favorite, chocolate raspberry. It's designed to be enjoyed hot or on its own or swiveled into a favorite recipe. It's a tasty and healthy way to heat up your winter. Get your free Element sample pack with any purchase at drinkelement.com/build it. Also, try the new sparkling and bold 16-ounce cans of sparkling electrolyte water. Thank you, Element, for keeping us hydrated, focused, energized. Now, let's get back to this retaining wall. Let's go. Yeah, 94 pounds of block? Oh, that's wild. Oh, shit. Dense ass rock. It's real snug out there. We're getting close to the property line. We want to make sure we're not touching the property line. And we're gonna have enough backfill, so we'll stay out of their business. I really don't want to piss off any neighbors here. My delivery truck driver, really cool guy, Gavin, that brought a rock. I had a neighbor already come out from like a block away. He drove over his sprinklers and broke their sprinklers, which, first of all, nobody here has a lawn for sprinklers, but he was way too pissed off about it. We came to go look at it, and nothing was cracked. It was like this far away from it. He's pissed. I'm gonna probably have to go, if he does anything about it, go dig it up and fix it for him. I mean, it's so hard building out here. You're so snug, you're snow tight, roads are a pain in the butt, but we're handling it. We're handling it one step at a time.
Are you the owner of the property?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they drove on my yard and mashed my yard and busted 2 sprinkler heads.
Oh shoot, I'm sorry about that. Where is your property?
No, just past here on the tight corner.
Tight left-hand corner?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry about that.
You should have come in the other way.
I mean, I can help you come out there, dig it up, and replace it. I'm just dealing with a small place, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we got to get this rock for this retaining wall up here.
Well, who brought the block up?
It's a guy named Gavin. He's a transporter.
Yeah, he needs to go the other way around, but I want his name and number.
Okay.
Because ultimately he's responsible.
He is, correct.
But if he doesn't come up with it, guess who else it falls on?
Of course,
yeah.
Of course. All right, it's day 2. Man, this whole daylight savings thing is killing the whole workday thing. Got dark really quickly. So today's day 2. We're gonna clean out the last little section here, drop the excavator down here. After that, Tanner's got a nice big dump trailer, so we're gonna go get a load of road mix, flatten everything out, and then multiple loads of drain rock to put right behind the sucker. So the plan here is to create a nice smooth transition. Is because this is the mudroom entrance, that's where you can hang all your stuff after you park. We're gonna scoop this section out and create steps, possibly pouring them with concrete. So we're gonna essentially have this retaining lower section of the wall, the first tier, have a breaking point down the middle. We'll fold the bricks inside, and then later on the concrete guys can come in and pour the thing up, and it'll be a nice smooth transition into that house. Thinking ahead. We got great news. The grading on the wall is done. We got perfect amount of space. We're leaving about 2 feet behind the wall from where the block is gonna sit, which there's a marker right there. Give gravel behind it, but before we can do that, we gotta start digging our footings. The first layer of blocking has to go below ground, so make sure it's as sturdy as it can be, like a foundation. Once this footing is all dug up, we're gonna put in like I think 4 inches of road mix for the base, give it a nice sturdy base, and then we'll put our blocking down, and then we'll start getting a couple of loads of gravel. Lots of loads today. I'm glad they got a dump trailer here. We'll be able to, I don't know how much we're gonna get done today, but we're gonna see. Okay, got a little bit of a setback. So we accidentally punctured our water line. The water is not connected, so it's good. It's not technically punctured, it's pinched. And whenever it's pinched like that, there's a good chance that over time it could distress and become a bigger deal, so we're gonna repair that. Then, to make matters worse, we broke a conduit to run our electrical. Fortunately, there's no electrical in there. So, oh yeah, another thing. Originally, when we did the backfilling on the foundation, our electrical conduit came out there, and you can't put your utility box or your power meter here because it's too low. So we're gonna move it over here. I just dug up this trench right there. I'm gonna use my recip saw, cut it off, move it over to the appropriate height here. I'm just gonna go right behind that. And then we're gonna do a quick repair on that plumbing. And hopefully we'll get back in business. Tanner went to go get some road mix to start compacting the base. Hopefully I can repair this by then so we can keep trucking. So that was the second time ever I've used an excavator, and it's super not easy to use unless you know what you're doing. I'm way too close to the deck on the back. I'm way too close to the roof here. I'm gonna let Tanner do what he does best because I just rather throw a shovel around, to be honest with you at this point. I don't need any more casualties. We got a truckload of premium road mix. We're gonna lay down 4-inch base of this stuff, get it compacted, and then set our bricks, our wall on top of it. And they're basically, the first row is gonna be buried. So that's gonna be like our foundation. Gonna start throwing it down. Fingers crossed we get a lot of it done. We probably have another hour of daylight, but we gotta be able to start setting brick tomorrow. That's what we're excited about. We're off to a slow start today. Plate compactor doesn't want to start. It's like 29 degrees outside. Something that can't go wrong will go wrong. Check it out. Brought 6 sockets and got the right one in it. At least that thing's going right. Gotta celebrate the little victories. Oh, this thing's caked up.
You got a torch? You want to torch it?
Yeah, let's torch, burn it off, and then I'll try to eyeball a gap for it. I absolutely hate gas-powered stuff. The amount of weed whackers I had to go through, they never fire up that same season. Something has to work here. I don't like cooking early in the morning. Come on, baby. All right. Let's try to clean that plug a little bit better. Oh, that's nice of them.
Yeah, it's those guys.
They're doing it? Ugh. Man, I love nice people. There's just a job site up the hill. There was nobody there. He got a hold of the excavator guy and he's like, sure, go ahead, use it. So we're back in business.
Take care of us.
It only took us about an hour trying to fix the thing. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Well, enough wasting time. We're finally going to be setting some rock. Tanner picked up a little cloth for the brick, so we're not breaking our backs. It's 94 pounds. It's ridiculous. I picked up my gas line, which is going to run across here because my tank's going to be on top. And I picked up GeoGrid. And this is basically this grid that goes down and stabilizes the soil from, essentially, it's kind of like rebar that goes into concrete. It keeps everything nice, tight together. Plan is going to be put 2 bricks down, then GeoGrid it, and then another 2 bricks down, then GeoGrid it, just work our way up from there. This will be interesting, but we got plenty of help here. All the way down. Down. Up. Grip it and rip it, Scott. We're trying to figure out, because these pins, that fiberglass pins that go through to hold the next layer up are only on one-sided, but in order for stacking the next one, they have to be double-sided. So we're trying to figure out if they either A, send the wrong stuff, or B, we just picked up the bottom brick. This is gonna be an expensive fix. I don't get it, they're all the same. What the freak is happening here? We gotta call the company who sent this over. I don't know what's going on here. Please tell me something we're doing wrong and not them. But definitely not a single one you can have them go through.
I do have some clarification. So are you putting the pins in the middle? Is that correct?
The middle of the brick?
Of the block?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep.
So when you do it that way, you're supposed to offset the block and use the holes on the sides of the geo wall.
Oh, okay. Nope. I got exactly how you're doing it. Oh. There we go. Oh, I figured it out. Okay. Okay.
Anything else I can do for you?
No, you got it, man. That's it.
You've actually been the most helpful person so far. So we just got clarity of how to install these, And we thought there's gonna be pins on both sides, same hole size, and that's why you have this offset. But the way it works is the pins are on top, and then these large holes down the bottom sit over it. And the reason why is because, road, oh, we gotta overlap them, grab. All right, so that's a big reveal, right? You push it forward, you have like an inch reveal. And the reason for that is the wall's pushing it forward and you want to have movement, because if there's no movement and they're nice and snug from pin to pin, as the hydrostatic pressure builds up in the wall, it'll just snap these fiberglass pins and your wall collapses on you. So you gotta account for movement. Lessons we learned today.
At least you're setting some of the bottom that way. If it's off, I can see you did it too.
Man, I tell you, that claw machine it has its weight in gold,
I got the
man.
pellet.
It's huge back saver. We got a good momentum going. Gonna belay break. This is the hardest part, is the base, because you got to get everything leveled. After that, we're just gonna be slinging rock. You guys want to see something cool? Check out my line. That is a crisp, crisp line. Man, so excited this is down. I'm gonna start throwing my pins in and start creating a second tier. And that, my friends, is something that I'm really much looking forward, even though I don't want to pick up rocks, but I just want to see this thing start coming to life. So exciting. So we got our drain pipe that we need to lay down before we start backfilling, and the idea is we need to divert this water that comes through. Now, we're not anticipating a whole lot of water just because how much sand is in the bottom core of this mountain hill side, but we're following the architectural plans for this exact setup. So we got our drain pipe, that sleeve perforated. We're gonna lay down dead flat down below, and we're going to divert the water to go around the house. Some plans show that you could put a T in and then have it diverting around and stubbing out. Only problem with that, anything that comes out this way is going to go straight at the house, and we want to push the water away from the house, not start fighting it this way and that way. So throw it down, backfill it, fill the rest of this with sand, drain rock here, and we'll be back in business. Everything's compacted, plenty of drain rock, backfill dirt, geogrid's going on, basically your reinforcement rebar like it would be for concrete. Now that it's flat, we're gonna start stacking the rest of the brick, and then every 2 bricks, we're gonna lay down another layer of geogrid, which at this point, I think I bought 16 rolls. That's close to about $1,000. Not cheap whatsoever. So one issue we ran into is making sure our line is completely straight, because with each layer it pivots any what direction. As you can see, the pins are on top, but then the pins that go out over them, or the hole that goes over them, is a lot wider. So it's not necessarily like snug fit, and it pivots left and right. And at first we looked at our line and it just looked like a snake from the backside, even though the front looked fine. So what we decided to do is run a level all the way down across, and it allowed for all these pins to get perfectly symmetrically in line, so the next layer is gonna be dead straight, which that's the pros and cons of the system. It's super heavy duty versus other retaining block. They have that lip in the back that keeps everything dead flat. Here, you gotta do a little bit of manipulation, so every row has to get realigned. But the good news is the first row is done, and now we're gonna backfill, drain rock, and another layer of geogrid, and do that every 2 other blocks. So much repetition. So one of the issues that we're having here, some rock is nice and flat and matches plumb with the previous rock, but some rocks have what's like almost, I would say, a 1/4 inch of a gap, like you see right there, which really blows because we did such a good job getting this thing graded and leveled. And now based off of the rock that shows up, it looks a little wonky. And I don't know if we're just being too meticulous about it, or truly we got like a weird batch of stone. I mean, they're all cast in the same thing. So it's a little mood killer right now, but we're trucking along.
This one's 7 3/4.
7 3/4, and this side is what? 7 7/8? 8.
Yeah.
No, that's almost 8.
A little over 8.
8 1/8.
8 1/8.
What's this one? 8 1/4. All right, so we're not losing our minds and we're not being idiots. Our level is dead flat from the base. These rocks are freaking garbage the way they came out of the cast, and we have to make up for it now. The good thing is the whole thing is leveled, but you see these gaps. I mean, that sucks, because you see a nice tight fit right there, and you got to deal with that based off of manufacturer crap. I don't know. What would you guys do in this situation? Return 50 tons of pallet? Or figure out a solution? If you have a solution, let me know.
Give it to me.
So in case we haven't mentioned it yet, we're using the drain rock to fill all these cavities, and it's gonna go from the previous one to the top, trickles all the way through. So all of these porous cavities are gonna get filled up and become one with a retaining wall.
Give it to me.
So it seems that, no, it seems like what he's holding is good, but there's a few sections after that that are bowing this way. Every other one we would cut, yeah. Last time I used this was to cut concrete in my house to run electrical under the slab on grade. Today, we're gonna chop some blocks. Thanks, Tate. Comes a little messy. Throw my PPE on, and hopefully it's a smooth cut. A lot messier than I thought it would be, but we got a halfway decent cut. Unfortunately, I can't get it cut in one sliver, but we got a nice solid block. I didn't want to cut right off the edge because there's not a lot of backing behind it, so I wonder if I can chisel that off. So we got nice good cuts on our corners here. The goal right now is to build up this corner so that we'll be able to backfill and he can get his excavator as far as this might go. That way he can reach probably up to here, and then the rest would have to do a little bit of a sweat equity here and put these gloves to work. So we got these corners all figured out to keep from a continual pattern that'd be eye-catching. We decided to flip the cutoff piece alternating sides, so it's not like an eyesore. So we have no cutoff there, we have one here, one here, one here, one here, and so forth. And then we're able to put one full block there. This is a final height of our first tier based off of what the plans call. You can't just build the sucker 12 feet tall. But here's another really cool part. Look how much wall we got done in 2 days. This is ridiculous. We got a nice grade on top that blends in with that grade on over there. We have our tiers going down here, and then what we're gonna do is put caps on them and then end pieces to keep the transition fluid. Look at all the space on top that we have. We're not gonna push this up, we're gonna keep that as is. We need that slope to go up there. Now our second tier wall, originally we were thinking about continuing the same exact pattern, but an idea that Tanner came up with is if we run it straight this way, and at this angle, bevel it to tie into this slope, thus then blending the top of this slope with it. That'll do a couple of things. It will have the natural slope of the hill progressing, connecting smoothly, and second of all, it won't look like this cabin is sitting on the side of a hill. It'll kind of create a separation or a little more abstract look to it to create a little bit, I think, more open space. We're gonna figure that out. I'd never think I'd see the day where I'm making miter joints with a concrete chop saw. This came out really nicely, still holds the pin. I spoke to the guys over that sells these geo walls, and I asked them about how to do these kind of transitions, and they're like, there's no straightforward way. We have end pieces, which is solid block. You just have to cut it. So you're cutting regardless. And the only time to bend them is to do it in such small increments, so you'd almost create a little wave. But this looks pretty killer. That's a damn good cut. Oh shit, we forgot to put the gas line underneath. Tanner! All right, maybe I could take a block or two off while he's doing that. Trench it real quick and get it on this side. Problem is it's already leveled perfectly. I gotta grab my jacket. I go, what's this pipe doing here? So It's running here, so it just makes sense to just take a
Yeah, I would just...
Ooh, what the frick? You gotta wear a hard hat. All right, big things are happening. We are day 8 on this project, working with 3 people. We're down 1 person today, but that's not a big deal. We got the last 2 rows to going on, and we're double stacking them, which is speeding up the process. We literally have maybe 1.5 feet to go before we're flush with this parking spot on top. So I'm gonna get on the skid, start running pallets, and then maybe we could figure out a way to do this tandem. Let's party. Well, this blows. Literally in 24 hours, it dumped 6 inches of snow. And we still gotta set our caps. Of course this will happen. Why wouldn't it? So the caps go and cover the very tops of this retaining wall. It's more of a decorative feature. You got to use adhesive, specific adhesive for it. You got to put 2 lines on it. I read the label on it. It has to be above 32 degrees. We're currently sitting at 27. So we're not gluing anything today until spring, unfortunately. But what I will try to do is brush off some of this snow off and try to set my caps on, and then come back in the spring and actually glue them on so they don't pivot or anything. Dang, this blows. You're gonna fight elements with elements. So these are the infamous corner pieces that finally showed up. So they are just basically one solid block, no holes like the rest, but 2 of the walls have texture on them. So they're used for 2 reasons. Transitions, because you have this exposed part, so it creates a transition. Or if you have stairs like we do here, that need to have a 90-degree elbow going in, those are your corner pieces. Finally showed up. Yay. All right, that's the last block. Now, I'll do you guys a favor because it's hard to admire this wall when it's covered in snow. I'm gonna try to clean it up as much as I can so we got a nice dopamine hitting reveal. Stay tuned. Well, after 2 weeks of really hard work, we got this wall done. 50 tons is the weight, over 100,000 pounds. Looking at 2 weeks of work with the crew of 3 people. Big thank you to Tanner, Ultimate Excavation, and Scott to give me a hand with everything. All in all, this wall cost me around $30,000 to put together, which is actually a deal. Tanner gave me a great deal in helping me out. I was able to save money on certain costs, but all in all, $30,000 for a 2-tier wall like this, very expensive, but it's something that definitely needed to be done, and I'm extremely happy how it turned out. I mean, it's a piece of art. That's the way I think about it. But because it is snowing, it's unforeseen, but anything can happen. We did this in November, so who knew? But anything can happen in Idaho, really. That's how our winters are. I'll have to wait till the spring to secure the top caps over with the adhesive and also do some kind of landscaping between the 2 tiers. I'm thinking about putting mulch in there, maybe some kind of wild plants that could sustain this kind of weather and won't mess with our retaining wall. If you have any ideas, any recommendations, love to hear them in the comment section down below. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and here's the video I think you might enjoy.